Vamos! Allora, buongiorno a tutti. Beh, vi auguro buongiorno a tutti ragazzi. Allora, guardate raga, non guardate la mia faccia. Sono tutto rincoglionito di 30 ore di live, dunque sono stanco. Allora, volevo vedere quello che non ho potuto vedere ieri, perché sono andato a dormire, dunque manca. Intanto vediamo la classifica di ieri. Allora, Europa comunità attiva, vediamo in Europa chi ha vinto. Allora, in Europa vince... Minchia, Glorious, ah sì vabbè, quella l'avevo vista, 300 salvage secondo. Mate. Francesi settima. Ancora francesi qua, 12. francesi, minchia, ma quanti team francesi ci sono? Mamma mia, i francesi. Boh. Poi volevo vedere Brasile, che mi piace King. Face King, Brasile, Brasile. Brasil. Noi ten cigaret, Brasil. Ah, vediamo, vediamo. Brasil che ha vinto. Bella, ha vinto Face King. Beh, direi. Sì, ma avevo già, sì, quello l'avevo visto stamattina quando ho acceso il computer. Avevo preparato, mi sa, la pagina Facebook con replay. Eccolo, eccolo. Il replay. Voglio vedere un attimo questo replay di Face King. Ah bah? Perché mi fa vedere questi adesso? Face King, dammi. Ce l'avevo prima. Porca puttana. Ma dai, che due palle però. Ce l'avevo prima. Due coglioni. Ma dove cazzo è Fesa? Oh, che palle. Minchia, due coglioni già. Allora, SNG King dovrebbe essere qua. Ok, la madonna. Che cazzo. Vabbè, non hanno fightato niente qua? Vediamo l'endgame. Sono curioso di vedere questa game là. È l'ultima, la staranno giocando. Vediamo. Ok. Mamma mia, che massacro. No, GG. Bella. Vabbè, perché non me lo fa vedere più? Sto guardando gli ultimi tornei che non ho potuto vederli ieri. Che ho fatto troppo live e ero troppo stanco. Allora, endless, di qua ha vinto endless. Fisdeb è arrivato a terzo, mi sa. Vabbè, dai, poi me la rivedrò con calma, dai. Volevo vedere solo la classifica di quelle che mi sono perso ieri. Allora, vediamo un po'. E tanto a rivederla così laga e tutto. Poi cercherò le live direttamente. Allora, vediamo un po'. Questo è Brasile. Voglio vedere a nord-est. Ok, vediamo di qua. Allora, di qua hanno vinto endless, però vittorie non hanno fatto. 372 punti, 77 eliminazione, un resto di 642. Boh. Ok, e Fisdub, dove cazzo? Ah, qua, lui è sesta, 0 win. Minchia. Smacket 11esimo, 433. Cioè, minchia, è stata dura allora di qua ieri, no? Cazzo, me la devo rivedere. Twitch, vediamo un po'. Fortnite, qua, poi qua, non rompere le palle tu. Queste è 3 ore e 33, questa è Europa. 7, questa è quella nord-est e nord-west. Okay.
This all, it's a full trio.
In the game.
How our standings are set after day 1.
Ok. Ah, però erano già piazzati i secondi, ah.
And day 2, add them all together, and that's
ok, erano già piazzati i secondi e loro erano il primo. 60. Minchia, si sono capovolti cazzo i posti. Quelli da secondi sono andati a finire prima, questi da prima sono andati a finire secondi. Ok. Poi come è andata questa cosa?
So, it seems here, our top 10 is looking really, really solid. Talked about the top 3, but a team that kind of flew under our radar yesterday was
Plays up their sleeves, how there's always something that you pull out that to that first place slot, which is still quite a ways away, but not too far. Now that top teams are starting to
110 punti,
so far
game
today,
11
from what
su
we've seen out of
12.
Day Mirror and Reverse 2K, it is still anyone's game. They can still end up having things not quite connect for them, but even then, they're such a clutch factor style team. You know, again, that last game just shows them a little bit. They gave us another taste of what they had.
Vabbè, qua
coming
ancora
out of day
95 sono.
And this prize, because they haven't had. If you can drop down on the low ground and beat them toe to teams that are down here, you know no one else is. So yes, their materials are a little bit lower right now. Yes, they're rotating in the open, but they know they can. Realistically, there's only 2 teams I can see on the mini-map right now that have fires on them that can upset them. If they get in here and they take a half-half zone, they are set up for absolute success with no one around them. Compared to Centered Edgy Commandment, who are inside Misty Meadows, which is an equally good spot to be because you have a lot of cover. Right now, it's going to depend very much on who gets these endgame zones and who can make it count. Centered Edgy Commandment, I saw some peppers in there again as well. Every time they make those endgames with Surge and they have those peppers, it's pretty much a top 5 guaranteed finish. But all it's going to take is a team to be extra aggressive. NA East has been playing slow and steady, but there is 2 games to go. If you're down on the leaderboard right now, you need to start making moves up. You start taking aggressive fights. You start changing the storyline. And any of these teams, at the end of the day, have the mechanical ability to take down the top guns if they get into a fight. And just a lot of them haven't had the confidence to take it. And Dave Mirror on reverse right now, depending on who sets up around them, could very easily tell this story. Does someone need Surge? Does someone want more points and to jump in? Or can Commandment sense an edge in hold it? Because they have Saf, Stretch, and Avery right next to them, and the XF trio just down below as well.
Yeah, not only that, like, I want to give respect. You talk about teams that can get aggressive and, you know, change the story up. Listen, Kanata's been in the feed multiple times, not only in the last game, but this one as well. Like, he found Sparebow already in this game here. I'm just watching it continue to light up and keep an eye out on any of those teams. It was posed from Sparebow's team there that actually got taken out, so a piece of that trio already getting broken down. Remember, Bucky, Kanata, and Macwood notorious for their final round comebacks, like their last day 2 comebacks. They did it in the last FNCS in what was just an iconic toe-to-toe exchange inside the big waterfall crater, which was Bucky doing the clutch up shots up against Zayton, who had high ground. So these guys always come through in those final games. They play the marathon, so you got to keep an eye out on that 3rd place spot, because that is still something that's on the line. Now that DGen, Adris, and Skittles is no longer inside this tournament, right? So it's that much more clear that 3rd place is going to be a contest for multiple teams now, because our top 10 is stacked right here.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So we talk about high ground, mid ground, low ground. Damir and Reverse have kind of played everything. We haven't really seen them on high ground, but they're not scared to play second high. They'll play the mid ground. We do very rarely see them on the ultimate low, and you know, that's the one issue, and also the strength of Centered Edge Commandment. You know, if it's an end game and it's a flat zone, you know who's on the low ground. You know who's ultimate low front side. You either avoid that because you want to stay away from them, but alternatively, if you're a Versus team and you're playing catch up, that might be where you send it to try to get that big turnaround. If you can drop down on the low ground and beat them toe-to-toe, and not many teams can, but I believe Dave Mirror on Reverse 2K could, that could be the big game. Or do you take the high ground to avoid them, make sure they don't get the points on you, and then have the big closeout? I feel like Reverse 2K, Dave Mirror have a little bit more versatility in the back pocket. We saw Centered's team go for a high ground yesterday, though, not getting zone and dropping down, but this is going to be an interesting zone. It's right now between 2 mountains. Centered Edge Commandment, depending on how they made their rotate, might set up across this gully, and we are literally going to see a face-to-face between 1st and 2nd. Does the zone go south, north? Does it go back up the mountains, or is it going to play back into Misty Meadows? Right now, a lot of these zones are going to be very difficult, but far south, it has the potential to pull up to the Disco House and go straight off Old Man Mountain.
Ooh, I thought they were going to set up for the 3-peat open fire there. They almost had it as well. That team was sitting still, idle inside the box, but you know what? They opt to hold out here. They opt to hold out, wait the zone out. Macwood's going to fall there to the elite trio there, so he does have to be careful. Crunch is going to go in and follow up. That's Narwhal, Slim, and company there, so that's a quick finish up for them. Slacks falls to our FNCS champions, having a tough day today. Acorn's going to go in and get the exchange onto him, but it's up to Daymir and Reverse 2K that we are watching. They have the max zone pool. When are you going to move? After you get some elims, nice and early now? Like, when is it time for you guys to get going? Because this is such a long rotate. We'd hate to see them get held out here now. They're going to jump on top of that weak team that they just lit up. Commandment actually pulls not only pulled the zone, but now pulls zone number 6 as well. So perfect for our 1st place team here. This is all but a perfect situation for them, and they still have peppers here, Ozzy. Like, they have everything. Like, what more could you ask for? And being in 1st place, coming into game 11 right now on a 2-day competition here, playing as well as they have, and now pulling zone once again.
And you're seeing the difference in playstyles. Commandment sends an edgy 0 eliminations, but 374 above. Daymir in Reverse with 6 eliminations, only 130 above. So as much as Daymir Reverse have been taking those aggressive fights, Centered Edgy Commandment are playing clinical, competitive Fortnite to get their tags. But Day's getting a little bit lost in the tarps right now. These are pretty messy. Mira's leading them around the outside, which you can do when you have Day, because if someone pops out, he's usually pretty quick to respond with that big purple pump. They make it to front side, but the issue right now, low ground is going to be tough. It's pulling down the mountain, but then it's going across the water. How are they going to be able to close this one out? Do they have to change up the style? Are they going to play those mid-ground layers a little bit more? And because Jeffa, Threats, and Rise have taken their position on the low ground, it's pulling across the water. Monster, we could potentially have a damn finish. We talk about mountains, but there is no more of a sheer drop than the Hydro Dam. Straight off that edge, and it can take you from 1st right down the leaderboard if you don't play it well. Commandment Centered Edge, you're playing just one layer player above the water. Avery goes down. It's going to be who can play this one. And Day goes down to Blake. So they're going down the backside. Who gets Adonis? They are still making moves. It's Nounsy, is lucky on the high ground. Reverse and Miro pushing through. No more Day. They've lost their big firepower, but Miro has proven that he can do more than enough as a solo. And when backed up by a World Cup qualifier with Reverse 2K, they have the potential to do it. But if you're a Centered Edge and Commandment fan, this is looking fantastic for you.
Miro
as
goes
they're
up.
getting refreshes on the mid ground. Miro's going up. Miro's going for high ground. They're sick of playing for second. They want first. And even as a duo, they go up. But Miro has one build. Was this the call, Miro? You put yourself up on a platform, up on a pedestal, and you need to prove that this was the right call. Do you get the refresh? He has to move the body back so the mats don't fall off the edge. That's 17 builds. That could be enough. Where's Reverse 2K in all this, though? Is he behind him? Is he up with him? Or is he down below? Reverse takes down Zlem. They're getting eliminations in different area. Miro has put the team on his back and gone for the hero play. And I respect it, but was it the right call? Miro has to prove it was.
Yeah, so far so good right here because he has found a lot of eliminations. He finds another one there on the backside of zone. The elims are the difference maker because he's still up. He's still early in placement as well. So you cannot count this out. And Miro might just be as quick as a flash here. He's going to walk in through the side. He finds two. That's one. And that's the second. And all of a sudden, Miro is proving why he is this good. And he wants another championship. He's not going to make it easy. Scented is down. Edgy is down. They are now out of this competition. Where is Commandment? Could Commandment still be up? If so, this is still on the line here. He's going to find another knock onto Rise. Miro might just have the biggest clutch of the season right here, right now. There's only 2 players left below him. There's a knock there, Ozzy. Can he actually do this all? It's a full trio. Look, they found Commandment.
It's threats and jam, but Miro has to drop down. Can he make it work?
Oh
He's
my
done
gosh.
everything as a solo. He put everything on his back.
Oh my
He's jumping
gosh.
the side. He's hitting perfect shots. 9 builds. Has time to get the minis off. Let's see it, Miro. We hyped you up as a solo player. You've done it as a trio champion, but right now everyone is watching. Your teammates are watching. First place is watching. Can you overtake them? Just misses the shot. And no, that last pump shot over the top was just enough, but we can't take it away from him. The confidence. Who has the confidence to do that as a solo to say, you know what, this is my play. I'm taking high ground. I'm taking matters into my own hands. And I think they got more points than Commandment, Sense, and Edgy. This is coming down to the wire. The last game is going to mean everything.
This is going to be a last game, without a doubt, between the two for Commandment's trio and, of course, Miro's trio now. But also, shout-outs to Threat, Rise. Like, listen, for them to win that game right there, they were in 4th place before that there. So with that, that throws them all the way up. Shout out to Jamper and all of them there. They have just done something phenomenal. We have truly an FNCS here on our hands, Zeke. Bro, Miro! Ah! Listen, okay, I don't mean to take a bias here, but that was absolutely insane, Miro, you freaking legend! Listen, it doesn't even matter that he didn't get the VR. It doesn't even matter because he literally put the team on his back. We're talking double-digit elims, boys. He is looking to make that run. He wants so bad to claim this Axe of Champions for the trio. That was insane. But Vivid, there was so many incredible things that was happening throughout the entire last tail end of this last game. I mean, the fact that Commandment, Edgy, and Scented, that like they used the peppers to get out ahead of everyone and try and keep them at bay. There were so many little things that you were just talking through right before we got here.
Yeah, Scented, Commandment, Edgy, making them notorious, rotates there. As you said, they were on the pepper, did a nice little waterfall down there and jumped in the water to get ahead of everybody on the low ground. That is their technique. That is their signature mark. And then,
yeah, I mean, I can't believe it. I mean, we'll talk about it again in a second, but let's just have a look at some of the other teams that are competing at such a great level right now. Obviously, DGen and Co have done absolutely unbelievable. We're second going into this game. They had a terrible time of things, though, in game number 5 here, but they've been at the very top or there or thereabouts for quite some time now because of that experience, that consistency. We keep talking about this. They've got a great way of manipulating the areas around them to get to high if they need to, hit the low if they need to, whatever needs to happen in front of them, they will make it happen. We've highlighted Ages as well, getting unbelievable elimination points, clutching them up on his own if necessary too. They can each play individually as well, but this team, I mean, Commandment's trio, your pick here as well, Vivid. These guys, I mean, just incredible stuff to watch.
Yeah, they are my pick, but I am a little bit worried because that game right there, they got third place with 1 elimination, but Miro, Reverse, and Day ended up with second place, 14 eliminations. So they got a plethora of points more than Scented and them, and you know, there was a little bit of a gap that Scented, Edgy, and Commandment had before that game, but dare I say that I think Reverse and them probably closed that gap with that amazing performance with Miro. And I really can't wait to see the standings, and here they are.
Oh, it's 4 points.
Oh
boys.
my
There's no way
God.
this is happening.
Let's just take a moment here. Let's take a moment here. I said to you both behind the scenes, I was like, guys, I feel they're going to have an amazing elimination game. I called it, and it happened. All right, it definitely happened. Guy, I mean, 4 points down between first place and second place right now. It is the two front runners, Commandment's trio versus Miro's trio. 238 placement points, 53 eliminations versus 198 and 71 eliminations as well. This thing is going down to the absolute wire. I cannot believe I am so in the zone right now. What a great way to finish NAE FNCS. Oh my goodness, Vivid, this is incredible.
I can't believe that me and you have been going head to head for weeks on end now, right? And our two predictions going into the last game for first place to win it all are 4 points apart. I'm blown away. This is awesome.
Speed, honestly, we couldn't have asked for a better kind of like finale here. Even though this, you know, obviously celebrating other teams as well. We talked about so much about Saf, Stretch, and Avery. We talked about, I mean, Jamper, Threats, and Rise there going into third position is incredible. DJ, obviously, we highlighted there a second ago, who obviously had a terrible last fifth game there, but there's still a way to get back into it. 286, they still could get into contention, at least for a top 3. Because don't forget, there's qualification for next season.
It wasn't even a free pickup, and now he is. Now, with Miro here, he is on pace to be the individual elim leader in 3 straight finals. Miro has been nothing but short of a superstar, popping off every single finals, literally dealing out just absurd amount of damage. And he's a clutch monster. We saw what he did in that last game, the 14 elims. You know, action speaks louder than words. This man is loaded with action here. And honestly, he has been proving this FNCS that he is one of the greatest on the scene right now that NA has to offer. But they are going up against the other best trio NA has to offer so far right now of Commandment, Sense, and Edgy. And I still cannot believe that Commandment, Sense, and Edgy have picked up those 2 elims because Miro and them have not at all. So those 2 elims that they have is actually big.
But Monster, I mean, maybe Orbs can get us a kind of a sightline on Cented's team, but it might not matter. Day, Mirror, and Reverse are 44 below. Unless they get some really good tags, they have to take a fight. Cented's team took the fight. They didn't win it, but they didn't lose it. They got some damage. Day, Mirror, and Reverse need to do the same here. They're 28 below. This is a team that notoriously has not been finding their surge tags at range. That could arguably come down to, you know, Miro and Day both being on controller. The long range dexterity isn't there on controller compared to mouse and keyboard. Even when you have the likes of Day and Miro and they're getting here some nice sting tags, that's big. That is going to be the difference. But if they're forced to take a fight here, Scented, Edgy, Commandment could be sitting pretty. They've taken these fights before and they've gone down. This is scary, and this is Fortnite. This is everything you want. This is why Storm Surge exists. It's making these top teams take these fights they don't want to take, and it's T-Gen, Ages, and Skittles. They're going to have to take it back into the Shark Tank. If that's who they have to fight, this is not going to be a pretty one.
They are absolutely going to have to take this fight. They're only 7 damage above. I mean, listen, Reverse UK, you've done all that you could with this stink bow. You've literally managed to find some tags, but at this point, it is not enough. Look, other teams are finding their tags too. Reverse UK, Day, they realize exactly who this is in front of them, but at this point, it doesn't matter how much respect you have for this team. You have to take the fight. You have to engage. These are still good tags here. He's still finding them. They're not willing to throw it all away, not just yet. They are trying to hold on, but Ozzy, 19 players have to go down. Day is underneath that build as a solo right now. He is maybe risking their entire game right now. He has to be careful.
This is it, ladies and gentlemen. You have to focus up on this. This is the FNCS. They are 44 above. But
The
Monster
biggest
said,
fight.
right, 19 people have to go down. This is the fight. You have DJ, Aegis, Skittle going
Coop
up against
is here.
Dame Miro Reverse. Coop, Adams, and COD Genesis are in the fray. Someone is winning this.
They're
Aegis
all
getting
on the
tagged.
Surge.
It's them who's below Surge as well. So they need to get active. Even if Dame Miro Reverse gets damaged, they're now below. It is jostling. It is going
Reverse
backwards
2K
and
finds
forwards.
Adams.
Who's getting hit by Surge? Now Adams going down to Surge. They get on top of Adams. Do they get the damage? They're 105 above. But it's DJ and Aegis Skittles above them that also need Surge. They can't rest back and sit back on this one. They might want to jump down. Damir and Reverse have done it. They are 208 above, but it's still Sharks at their door. There are players
Another
still
one right here in the box.
It's DJ
No!
and Aegis Skittles. They come down. Day goes down. Reverse, he throws him back. Reverse is going to keep Day safe, and they finish him off. That was Coop. It was the last player in this trio, but now it comes down to 4th place. Does DJ and Aegis and Skittles want to jump down into the fray? Is COD Genesis going to get into it, or have Day, Miro, and Reverse potentially held on to their Storm Surge and the top 2? The race for first is still on. Scented Edgy Commandment have not been in the feed. I have to imagine they've somehow clawed their way back in, but man, Day, Miro, and Reverse, nerves of steel, they're still in a monster.
And not only that, the score is now even, guys. They have picked up the 2 that they need to, at the very least, counter the 2 that Scented Edge and Commandment picked up just moments ago, and they get to disengage for free as DJ and Aegis and Skittles have full focus and attention on picking up that elimination left behind them. Remember, 3rd place is still on the line here for DJ and Aegis and Skittles, potentially a miraculous jump up, but even then, that is not completely out of the question for this trio, though. Looks like Scented was not able to get enough loot to stay in the game. He might have been taken out. He might have been picked off.
I've got information that it looks like Scented got taken out by a headshot bow and finished. Commandment and Edgy have to do it as a duo. The storyline is told when Scented and Edgy go to the final game in first, they don't lose. But right now, Scented is out. It's on Edgy and Commandment, and you're going up against Day, Miro, and Reverse. This is looking very, very dicey for Commandment and Edgy. 5 bandages, 1 mini monster. Everything they've practiced, everything they've prepared has come down to this. There's a team descending over the mountains, and they're going to need to do something. And it's Dubs, Mega, and Rocade. All the top teams are colliding and finding each other. Right now, it's DJ and Aegis and Skittles against Miro's team. Now it's Commander and Edgy potentially against Dubs, Mega, and Rocade. And I don't know how their surge is looking. We saw it last game, was the 6 eliminations by Miro's team had them only just above surge when it came into the end game. Commander and Edgy can't just hide. They can't just hold on. They need to start getting active as well as a duo with next to no loot.
And not only that, like sitting inside these wood builds here just is only going to make them a target right now as they are on the outer edge of the base of the zone right here. There's so much pressure on the line here. There is so much at stake. Can Commandment actually clutch up right now with Edgy? We've seen Edgy. Edgy has done so much for this team already. He is literally leading with solo individual points based off his own performances this weekend. But we know Commandment to be the clutch. And Miro, Reverse 2K, Day, they're still popping off. Another team wipe there. They're going to find the elite boys on the outer edge here at Pleasant Park. And it looks like they're going to be able to wipe this up and finish them up. Pick up the loot as well. Perfect here. That's another just delivery to bounce them back in because they actually needed all this loot here too. And look, they just find pieces of that trio there, but it's going to be enough to get them the loot to set them up here.
But then the zone goes back towards Commandment, Center, and Edgy, so they have a little bit of an advantage there, but Miro's team has the loot advantage. I saw floppers, I'm seeing cabbages. They have what they need to hold on, because with that elimination, they've now taken the lead. Or I believe it might still be tied up. No, I think they're still 1 elimination behind, potentially.
One more.
They came in with a 2-elim need. They need 1 more elim to tie things up, but it is a trio v duo. Can someone stop Damir in reverse? Because that's what it's going to take right now. Commandment, Edgy, they have the tournament in front of them. They are potentially going to become back-to-back-to-back runner-ups. And no one wants that. No matter what you do in life, that is such an unfortunate way to go down. Second place is so incredibly, important. It's you have to be proud of it, but I know they want the win and they need to play for it. Reverse 2K also has a great loadout right now. They're on the edge of zone. If they get 5th zone, it's going to be very, very hard for Commandment and Edgy to come back from, but they're on different paths. They're not on top of each other, which means right now, the zone gods, the NRG, the luck could come into this one right now and see if they can do it because, I don't know, Damir and Reverse are poised to the north. You have Edgy and Commandment on the south. Which way is half-half going to go if Commandment and Edgy can even hold on for that long?
It's literally going to come down to that right now as far as who can get this zone here. Commandment, if you're Commandment, if you're Edgy, you are praying the zone lands on you. You do not want to rotate as a two-man team. With the way this waterfront works out, you are going to be an open target here. Remember, where Reverse UK, Miro, and Day are positioned right now, they can actually oversee the downhill that they're sitting on. They can look out and see everyone on that riverfront there. And there's so many other teams that can do that as well. This is where the lobby focus can truly kick in here. And guys, this is the final game. This is game number 12. After 2 days of grueling competition, it has literally come down to a 2-point difference maker of our top teams here in the final game. And it's not all over. They're trying to now find this one. Can they get this play to drop down? The piece control was good, but it was not enough.
And this is the confidence you need right now. They are playing for first, and zone pulls across. Neither of them get it. Damir and Reverse have to move. Edgy and Commandment have to move. Right now, Centered is down, but you know he is still IGL and leading that team right now. From beyond the grave, he is telling them where to go, where to rotate, up, down, left, right, and that is absolutely pivotal as well. At the same time, you've only got 2 players up, but you truly do have the brain power of 3, and looks like Commandment and Edgy are doing just that. They're rotating in front of Dubs, Mega, and Rocade. They're breaking their way in. I really want to see how this Storm Surge is looking once it triggers. They are the first ones in, and they might need to get some damage on the board right now. 50 players alive. NA East is staying stacked to the very end. Whether you're in last, whether you're in first, everyone is playing their heart out here today after 12 games. That is truly, truly commendable here. No one has started W keying. Everyone is still playing the best Fortnite they can, and Edgy and Commandment are going to need to right now. As DJ and Aegis looks like they're falling in the feed, you need these teams to stay up to get active. Can we have Kanata Mac with Bucky? Where are they? Are they going to run potentially into Miro's team right now? Because Miro's team, someone needs to stop them. And Day and Miro have been tagged up on the rotate. Reverse has taken over. There's a lot of focus going on right now. There are a lot of eyes on this area. Day, Miro, and Reverse have left their rotate pretty late. But if they make it, things are looking more and more set for this team. 2v3 monster. NA East, my heart can't handle this.
They're here. They have made it. They are just one step closer now, once again, to making this final rotate. All teams are going to start getting placement points here as well. And we're watching it. We're watching it right now. We're watching who can actually survive the test of time, who can outperform one another here in the final moments. And honestly, even for Edgy and Commandment, even if they make it that far, Miro, Day, and Reverse do the best work when they make it here. The moving zones, the final zones. They are virtually guaranteed elims at this point because you know they're going to pop off, and they are clutch up savages. Like, this is where they play best Fortnite here.
At the same time as well, we've been focusing on the 2-horse race at the front, and it's even more so now. Jampa, Threats, and Rise in 3rd are down. DJ and Aegis Skittles in 4th are down. Mega
Day finds Acorn.
5th is still up. Day finds an elim. This is genuinely down to Commandment's team versus Day's team. Nothing else matters at the top right now. No one can overtake them. They are battling it out. They are duking it out blow for blow. Every elimination you come up will be the difference. These 2 teams have been within 1 or 2 eliminations the difference now around top 3 for so long today. Damir and Reverse have played a little bit of catch up, and they need to push forward. The loadout is looking a little bit worse than what I originally thought right now, but Commandment, Edgy, they're not in the feed. They're not getting a limbs, but they're not going down either. They are rotating. Can they run up the low ground as a duo, or are they going to change the play style? As Day is looking for it right now. Day's been a little bit quiet today. It's been a story of Miro, and no! Commandment is so low. He's almost down. Edgy's going forward. 3 builds. Edgy, you have to show us what you can do. You've been clutching up so many points today as a solo. You're going to need to, because Day is still getting points on the backside. Commandment gets some meds off. I hope Commandment has some builds in the back pocket. Day is falling behind, but Miro Reverse are leading the charge, and Day's picking up the eliminations. So is Miro.
My gosh.
They're charging
Edgy's
forward.
down.
And no, Edgy is down. It's all up to Commandment. He has to take on a full trio of the best players in the world. But Miro goes down. Days goes down. It's just
Days
Reverse.
down.
It is Reverse 2K versus Commandment. Reverse 2K
There's no
put
way.
a target on his back earlier this week. He might get the revive onto Miro. He stood up in front of everyone and said, we're the best trio, and now Rev K has to back it up. It looks like they get up Miro, but can he make it in? This is going to be so close. Commandment goes down.
Commandment's down. Edgy is down.
If Reverse and Miro keep pushing, they might have this, but Reverse is getting lit up as well. They both might go down early. Reverse is 5 HP. He goes back for him. He doesn't get it. Where is Miro in all of this? Miro has to hold on. This is coming down to single points the difference. 1 tick to zone. Miro, you stepped up in front of the whole lobby and showed everyone who you are. You need to hold on.
And there
it
it
goes
is.
Down. They're both out. Was the extra placement enough, Monster? This is just too close.
Absolutely, and again, they had the Elam lead as well, and now on high ground, though, Saf, Avery, and Stretch are here to put down the pain and power of height. They've done it all weekend long. They have literally played for victory after victory every single game. And now we get to see them once again try to play for a big dub here. Avery's gonna hop on down. He wants to get inside the mix here. Here comes the pump shot. That's a beautiful white tag. Scope goes down. And now it's time to finish things up and wrap up these last three teams. Can Saf, Stretch, and Avery close out in dominant fashion here? Avery's on fire right now. There's a beautiful pump and a finish. Get him out of here. Another team wipe off for Avery there. Aussie, this has been a phenomenal FNCS NA East. I mean, we've watched nothing but pop-off fest. This last game couldn't have been any closer as it does come down to the final stretch here.
This could be a battle for top 3. Saf, Stretch, and Avery in 6th. Mega Dubs and Roque just went down. Saf, Stretch, and Avery need to win this for a podium finish. 3rd is on the line. Avery jumps out the
Saf
side.
is down.
Saf goes down. Stretch is up there. Avery, we talked about it. You have big shoes to fill. You jumped up and you took over stage 4. Can you happen from the high ground? Kaz goes down. Avery's doing everything he can, but it just wasn't enough. He played it so well. Kaz, Aspect, and Hoofishy with their 2nd victory out of the day. What a performance from Stretch, Saf, and Avery, though. Avery stepped up so big when it mattered, but it's the battle for the top spot. I don't know. Monster, 1st and 2nd, they went down close. I think Daymir and Reverse got more limbs, but they needed 2 more. Did he get extra placements? Has Miro managed to do it yet again?
We might have seen another phenomenal finish, and again, it's gonna come down. One team is gonna walk away with an absolute heartbreak here, but you know what? We have to commend everyone that has played so far today, as exceptional as you guys have played today. Thank you, NA East. Thank you guys for the awesome game. From Monster Defense, Awesome Antics here at the desk for the final stage. We're clocking out, but we're gonna toss it over to Zeke to tell us who takes home this W.
First off, Monster Defense, Aussie Antics, thank you guys so much. You're absolutely incredible. Straight up eliminated it the whole day. Okay, this, shout out to observers. Y'all crushed following these storylines, okay? Wow, so this literally came down to the wire, going back and forth. Both of these trios almost making like mistakes, but then pulling the trio back around and saying, no, no, no. It won't end like this. It can't end like this. And continue to push themselves forward. You know, Vivid, this was an absolutely insane final game to NA East. And we're going to see the results in just a second. But I want to just get your initial raw thoughts here. How are you feeling?
Oh, I can't wait for this. Go on.
My initial thoughts, man,
Non
is,
spara il pompa,
you
niente
know,
non
Scented
spara.
Edging
Capisco
have done
perché.
so well in every single game, fighting the third. And I feel like in that last game, I'm not sure if the pressure got to them. They're veterans. They've been in these situations before. I don't see that being feasible. Maybe they misread the situation in some way, shape, or form. But pushing Flush Factory right there, man, I could see that there were 2 extra individuals there, so maybe they didn't understand the whole situation. But I was just like, no, this is such a bad idea, and ended up sending them going down. So they were just on the back foot that entire game. And I don't know if they have enough in them, in the points that they had prior to that game, to hold that first place victory.
I know, it was honestly, it was so tough. We were all kind of watching the feed back at house thinking, why are they pushing Flush when you can see that clearly they're going to get, you know, kind of like third party as well. And I don't think they just saw it. I think they knew that eliminations were the game changer here. That was what Miro and what those guys, that trio, were able to do the entire time. 71 eliminations going into this game. They knew they had that advantage. So they thought, let's pick up a few, get some points under us, and then go into the final end game. But it didn't work out. They were chasing their tails the entire time, and it could have very well cost them. But, you know, credit where it's due to Saf's, Saf and Hoofishy's trios there again. In the end game, they've been there kind of there or thereabouts for the entirety of this weekend, and picking up big victory royales there, and second place finishes as well. So those guys did brilliantly as well. But I cannot wait for this leaderboard. I am literally buzzing for this.
Right before we get there, we got to relive some of these highlights coming out on the day. Day 2 of NA East FNCS Finals did not disappoint at all. Gentlemen, walk us through the day.
And victory out from Nosh, Nut, and Chucky seems like so long ago. I can't even, like, right? Like, there's been so much action about the day. Like, I don't even remember them getting that victory out there, but wow, like, that just makes me realize how hype all these other games have been.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, we saw some brilliant work from you earlier on, giving us a bit of a kind of how Aspect and Co did this. Kind of got the high ground and maintained, getting their victory royale as well. We actually saw Macwood and their trio as well. But you can see Bucky here at the end game. These guys, obviously, we had high hopes for as well. They qualified last season automatically, and they couldn't hold on. Even they had, I think it was 15 eliminations, a huge elimination game. Here we can see again with Mirror on top here, the high ground, and managed to sustain. I think this was the 17th elimination game, if I remember correctly, where it just changed the leaderboard completely here. Jamper Rising Threats as well, we mentioned earlier on, Vivid, another trio who have been, been really consistent all weekend long.
Yeah, that attempt with a clutch from Miro right there. I mean, he grabbed a bunch of points, but if he would have got that victory out, wow. And then, of course, the final game here, Avery, Stretch, and Sapphire on height. But again, Kaz, Hoofishy, and Aspect playing a mean low ground and just finding the shots.
Here we go. We're about to find out who that. They've done it! I don't believe it! Let's go! Okay, this is unreal. Okay,
man.
So Day, Miro, Reverse, they are your NAE FNCS Final Season 6 champions, baby! 372 points, 77 eliminations, an average place of 8.2. Vivid, how are you feeling right now? How's things your end?
I love that they won, man. That's awesome that they won. But my boys, man, they were so close. 11 points separates the two. But when you look at it here, right, there is a 33-point difference in the placement category. But then there are 22 elims differences. So that alone is 44 points. And the elim potential of this team at the top here is just too good. Like, a stat that I want you to really listen to here is Miro has now finished with the most individual eliminations in 3 straight FNCS finals.
Wow.
Like, what? Hello?
That is crazy.
Yeah,
that is actually crazy. I mean, I think I'm looking at the leaderboard here myself, and of course, all weekend long we've celebrated all these kind of these incredible teams that have made it here to the finals, because it's no easy thing to do to get all the way here. We got to give a shout out to Asaf, Stretch, and Avery there, creeping at 3rd position here as well, qualifying automatically for the next FNCS as well with 303 points, 5 points between them and DGen's team, who've been there kind of there all weekend, particularly today. It just didn't really work out. The last few games, they just couldn't get position, they couldn't get elimination. We see our 11th through 20th as well. All these teams, Zeke, have got, prize money coming their way for competing. But, I mean, I've had such a blast with you guys. It's been so much fun to look at this. What a weekend of action. I loved it.
Man.
Yeah.
It is absolutely insane, Vivid. I'm just in shock. I think for the trio here, Day, Mirror, Reverse, 2K, I love that you kind of hit us with that stat. 2 FNCS ago, I remember they get themselves that win. They found the llama in the water, and they win an FNCS. Last season, they had to give up the Axe of Champions, to be able to hold that for a season and think, wow, this is it. We know we've made it, and then have to give it up. And then a season later to say, no, come back home. You love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, like 2 FNCS wins, absolutely incredible, especially on a region like NA East. The level of play that they have to be at in 2 different metas, right? And even in the previous FNCS, they didn't win the last one. They got 4th. You know what I mean? But, like, what does that average come out to be, Like, that's incredible. They've been playing out of their minds throughout different metas, throughout different seasons, and the elim potential of this team, like, I would say that Sented's trio definitely way better in the placement category. They were way more consistent, but competing with the elims is just impossible. There's so much elim potential on that trio of reverses.
Yeah, we saw one of the stats there in the spotlight as well. 22 of the 33 trios, they managed to get at least 1 elimination. What an incredible stat that is, proving that they've kind of gone up against the majority of the lobby and come out on top, which is extraordinary in itself. But it just proves how good this trio really are. I mean, they came 4th last season, as mentioned, but that is the reason. I mean, we've bantered back and forth all season long, Vivid and I, about trios we picked and who were kind of celebrating here and there. But the reason that I really did go for this team, was because I saw how high their elimination average was. And
Hello,
that's what it
Maxim.
comes down to. No victory royales for this team at all, the entirety of their 12 games, but finished in the top 10, I think 9 times out of 12 games, and had that highest elimination average coming into this, and that was the key, and they've delivered, and that's how they've won FNCS NAE Season 6, baby.
And you know, a really fun stat. This is now the second time they've won an FNCS final with 0 victory royales. That's right. Just let that sink in. Okay, this trio absolutely deserves it, and well fought from them. And again, our top 3, congratulations to them for making it this far. They faced the gauntlet, they made it through, and they will auto-qualify going into the next FNCS finals. Fortnite fam, it has been a pleasure hanging out with you guys, following the competition, and of course, hanging out with Adam, Vivid. You guys got to shoot them a follow if you're not already. These are incredible human beings. Do the same for Aussie Antics and Monster D-Face. Some of the best people I have ever known in my entire life.
What, bro?
But that's it.
Thanks, man.
We're done. I know. Vivid's like, I'm not going to ever let Zeke live that compliment down. Thanks, Zeke. Well, way to set yourself up. Fortnite fam, this is it for the competition in NA East. However, do not forget, after a little bit of a break, we're going over to NA West. That's right, 6 more matches left. Another set of regions to dive on into and crown champions at. There's still more to do today. So what you need to do, make sure you go find yourself some food and come back a little bit later, because we're going to come back for more NA West action with the team over there. As always, Fortnite fam, we love you. We'll see you at the All-Star event, and we'll see you on that Battle Bus.
Para-pa-pa-pa-bum. Perché non spara? Dai raga. Oh ma... Ah, questa è finita. Inizia l'altra.
Consistency. We saw
Already, because it is time to kick off the second day of competition. If you're watching in Party Royale, what a Party Royale! You know how much I love you. I hope you enjoy these games. But for now, we're sending it over to Clay and Sundown, our casters for NA West. Gentlemen, say hello.
Oh, hello there. Thank you so much, Zeke, Shio, and Kelly. And what is up, Fortnite family? Welcome. It's closing time, and where every new beginning is some other beginning's end, we're going to see who's going to end up on top here. 6 matches left to go to claim that Axe of Champions. And my name's Sundown, joined by the fantastic, as always, Clay Stelling, to guide you through all of the action. And Clay, how are you doing after an intense day of Fortnite action?
Yesterday was non-stop hype the entire way through. Every fight was so tense, and I know it's going to be that way today. The stakes are even higher because it is the back half of the matches. And after what we just watched in NA East, with that head-to-head moment at the very end for first place, I am so excited just to see that moment happen here in West.
Yeah, and as the analyst desk was able to show, we've had 5 teams who are able to really separate themselves towards the top. But as we noted, we're only 50% of the way through the competition. So it's Fortnite. Absolutely anything can happen, and there definitely seems to be a little bit of change in the winds. Potentially some teams trying to adapt their strategy going into day 2, because frankly, we saw a lot of what teams are trying to game plan on day 1 just didn't really come to fruition, and I would expect players to change it up. The definition of an insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, you got 6 matches today. They want to see some different results.
And we saw that last season with Arkham Epic Whale and Rex. They were in that lead. They were kind of a little bit behind. And then all of a sudden, day number 2, they came out of nowhere. They said, wait a minute. Y'all thought we were going to let y'all win that? No. And so they came back just with a vengeance. And I expect to see them do it again. I mean, they're in 3rd place right now. So I don't think they're happy with that by any means.
I mean, for them, it's first or nothing. They're the literal adage, if you're not first, you're last. They want to win everything. It doesn't matter if it's a cash cup, if it's a scrim, if it is a creator cup, FNCS, they want the W, so they're going to be putting it all on the line today. And we saw yesterday they had uncontested Sweaty. There seems to be a little rumor, a little birdie saying that might not be the case today, as Batman Booga, Sake, and Wale didn't necessarily get off to a great start yesterday. We saw throughout the entirety of the qualifiers, how did they make it there? They made it by grinding out and taking the fights at Sweaty. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did end up kind of sticking to that audible and going and trying to take those fights. But I'm also not necessarily sure if that's a huge plus or negative for Epic Whale, Arkham, and Rex, because they struggled for Storm Surge in a couple of those games, and we know they can fight.
And if they finish it off quickly, they'll be fine. But that has been a struggle for West. We see a lot of East and EU. Those fights start and they're over. But West likes to draw these fights out. They really like to make these games go really long. And speaking of games, we're right into it here with game number 7 coming through. The observer showing us a nice little llama over here by the Zate Hill. And I'm just excited to see where these first contestants are going. And Sundown, Sweaty Sands, someone talked a big game, but eventually they left it uncontested.
They huffed and they puffed and they went somewhere else. But speaking of going somewhere else, we saw an adaptation late yesterday where 4DR Storm and his team said, nah, we're going back to the stacks. That's what we know best. Dylan, Quinn, and Juicy weren't ready for it, and it looks like you can see top right-hand side, we got that fight going down, but also over at the Dirty Dogs, which is continually contested. We already had a knock. You can see that represented by the X, but we're going to swing on over to our current leaders. It's Extra Snacky, Kenshi, TSG, Faz landing over here at Risky Rios, which is just such a strong drop spot this season.
All the mechanical parts and all that metal that you're going to be able to have, just astronomically more here, I think, than anywhere else other than maybe compact cars over by Dirty Docks. And the priority on zone here is what makes it so valuable. When you talked about the 4DR moving over, and they continue that. That last game for them was so dominant. They completely eliminated Quinn, Juicy, and Dylan so fast. It was unheard of. We haven't seen it before, and they're looking to do it again.
Well, they've been conditioned to the fact that they were uncontested, right? Nobody else was here, so they're taking these really spread out drops. But when Steamy Stacks is traditionally contested, you'll either see this little bit of a north-south split between the two silos, or sometimes an east-west split, which is a little less desirable if one team's really able to kind of claim that coastline. There's significantly more loot over there. But right now you can see Dylan trying to get up on the high ground and pressure onto Adam right away. And I do want to note, I did end up predicting Quinn, Juicy, and Dylan. They were one of the teams who ended up coming through. They had a very poor performance yesterday, had a tough time kind of getting off spawn and getting into the matches. And I would just say, like we talked about in the pre-show, doing the same thing and sticking with it, definition of insanity, etc., all of that. I'm looking more so today to see what Riverson and Co. end up doing in terms of my own personal prediction storylines. If Quinn and Co. make themselves relevant, awesome. Do I expect that to be the case given what happened yesterday and the fact that in match number 6, they got absolutely shellacked over here at the stacks? I'm not sure they're coming in with a ton of confidence.
I think it's a little different now that they know they're going to be contested. They can plan around that, and Quinn definitely, I think, has set that up, knowing how smart he is and knowing the IGL role that he plays. Definitely can play around that, and any tags that they've got is already more going over than what they got yesterday. And this is, I actually like a lot. They're immediately disengaging. They know these houses have bunker chests. They know the slurp trucks over here as well. And I like this from them because now if they can get ahead of everyone, they can hold this trio on rotation as they're coming out of the stack.
Yeah, but that's one of the problems when you're rotating away from the eastern side of the map and what made the Kami split that everyone talks about so popular. There's always a team who's hawking that interior line and immediately hitting those houses. But speaking of immediately hitting the houses, going over to Misty Meadows, a place that was wide open yesterday for Crispy and Falconer, but now a little bit of adversity. And speaking of adversity, Chris losing all of his shields, all of his white HP instantly. He's down, he's out. Falconer, who was the unexpected carry yesterday, really putting the trio on his back in terms of Elim, also going to be down. It's all going to be on Reet, who, while great wall-to-wall, box-to-box, only has 2 bills, back-to-back 100-plus tags, though. It's going to check this advance for a second, and I don't think there's a ton of excess shields here, so if Reet can isolate enough, oh, he's so good. Hop getting bopped right there, but will it be enough to allow him back in the match? Good, Reet hitting. Oh, no. Back. We saw 1v3 yesterday from Shifu. We didn't expect it, but it's a little more fantastic when you see it out of one of the best in the West. And on top of that, he did it into 3 people who were full shields, full HP, and had legendary weaponry, a legendary pump, plus a legendary SMG that early in the game is so brutal. But now I'm not sure if he's aware that there's another trio here. He's gonna get the 3 Elims, but he's gonna get a nice little surprise as there is a second ambush coming in the meadows. You've heard of the first ambush, well, here's the second one.
He does have the legendary pump this time, can make a play happen, and Skadoo says, get out of here. We're not gonna let you clip us again. Imagine what that would have been like. I think everyone would have freaked out, us included. I don't know a better start to an FNCS game number 2 than that right there. Still phenomenal performance by Reed to try to put the team on his back, get those eliminations, and go for that reboot. Moving over, we get to see the early rotation once again from Arkham, Epic, Wild Rex. This is the adaptation they made from the previous season until now. They made it in that second day as well. Is they decided, you know what, we're spending too long here. We're going down the Surge. We need to find Storm Surge. A quick stat for everyone, Rex's trio has at least 1 elimination in their last 30 FNCS finals games. That is ridiculous.
That's really good. If you think about it, just from a consistency factor, that's not getting wiped off spawn pretty much ever. That's always at least taking one person with you. It also just goes to show how long they've been around, how long they've been competing as a trio and as a group. They play so often together. They're now doing a really good job, just kind of some of these drive-by tags here, finding damage and trading out, doing a good job of making sure they're getting lines and taking a beat, and now rotating back behind him. Generally, when you're rotating off another car like this, the last thing you want is to end up in a straight line with fire coming towards you. But as I say that, J Roses and Co just light up Rex. He loses the entirety of his HP bar. They're gonna have to dig deep in the utility there. Luckily for them, they got plenty of them.
They're not gonna just let him go without a little bit of engagement there. They're looking for those tags. Arkham will hit 1. Epic, Whale, and Rex seemingly have to deal with the Raptors on the backside, so they do take a little bit more damage than they'd like to, but you pointed out they have a great amount, and that's what having an uncontested POI will allow you to do. Have ridiculous amount of loot. J-Roses and Trashy want to get some more tags on them rotating through. Want that damage as well. Everyone is fighting for that storm. It doesn't matter if they see you rotating through and they're like, I know that outfit. They're going to shoot at you. They need that surge, and that's the best way to find it. But I saw a rare makeshift in their inventory. I really hope they're able to get enough mechanical parts to upgrade that.
Yeah, and that's one thing when you are leaving Sweaty Sands completely uncontested, because they respect so much the lobbies in space. There isn't anybody really near you, so you need to get going. You need to get moving. You've seen repeatedly that's why they're getting these cars, prioritizing the Chompers right away, and going to try and find fights, heading towards the zone. But that means you don't necessarily always have time to loot all the way up. So that's why you're seeing they're rotating through, making sure they min-max on the gas, and then when they're leaving, they're making sure they break the cars. But for a second time, they get beads on them from multiple angles, and Rex is just devoid of shield. Twice in less than 2 minutes. He's gonna be forced pop 2 minis and a big. Again, we talked about it, tons of utility from there, but it seems like Vert, J Roses, and Trashies have a bead. On That's the same team as before who was able to get a little bit of harassment down. So we're going to swing on over. That was the 3rd place team who we're keeping an eye on. Now it's the 4th place team. Gadkuka and Fikoi been landing up towards this weather station / caddy and really push pretty much everyone else away.
We fought this every single time, and that is something Arkham and company have struggled with the entire time. Is they make that early rotation, but they always end up losing that shield. But a quick stab for everyone, bringing it back over to Godku and their trio. They had at least 20 points in every game in day number 1. That is super consistent, and you're gonna need that. They're gonna need a little bit more. Again, being in 4th place, being behind, they're not that far off pace, but they really need to keep pushing that.
That's nuts, but it's also something that I kind of want to highlight because it puts them in danger, as we talked about with the teams who rely on consistency every single game. Yes, it's going to get there. Somebody's going to be consistent over the course of all 12. But one single bad game, and all of a sudden, you're not in that top 5 anymore. You're not in that top 3, and it's going to require a really large performance to end up catching and getting that Axe of Champions. So, while that also, just to note, that performance is absurd. Getting over 20 points in every single game is just nutty when you consider the first placement points don't come in until top 25. You can see right now, look at the top left corner of the screen, still 89 players on their feet. Only 3 trios have gone down. That's Falconer, Reet, and Chris, Batman, Boga, Wale, and Sake, and then Hyper, Pearl, and Cluxon. All outs.
Seen this zone yesterday. Gakuka and Pikoi actually ended up giving up this positioning, and I want to see them keep it this zone around, especially with how it's pulling a little bit more towards Misty this time around. I think it'll continue to pull that way for a little bit, and so I like that they have this angle, and then they can choose to rotate down if they want to, because they're really good at getting that early surge. But if they've scared everyone away, they're not going to be able to find it. Like that's what Arkham, Epic Whale, and Rex are struggling with. We set that up yesterday, and so I'm very intrigued to see how they deal with it, because 0 eliminations, their tags, we'll see them here in a moment once that Storm Surge indicator pops up, but they're used to relying on those early games elims.
Yeah, and if you're wondering what we are talking about / watching us in Party Royale, not necessarily that used to competitive Fortnite, Storm Surge is something that ends up punishing the most passive players in the lobby. It ends up coming into play in zones 3, 5, and 7. If you're checking the bottom right-hand corner, we're currently in zone number 2. So we'll get a Storm Surge warning in a little bit. Boom, and there it is. So you can see on the right-hand side, they're currently sitting 47 damage above. The brief update was right around, I think it was 138 or so. So teams will need at least 4 to 5 rifle tags. And if they're at max range, you're looking at closer to 7 or 8. Now, name a better duo than NA West in zones pulling directly over these key bridges. As you can see, J Rose's Trashy Invert going to stake claim, and getting onto the bridge and getting priority position is so huge there, because being able to refarm those hard mats is so efficient in the late game. So now we'll swing on over. First place trio raining shots down on the second place trio there. They have a great line on that.
Kenshi actually, in the meantime on this rotation, did end up getting knocked to a bow. They were able to pick him up and still continue to put this pressure down. And I think they're going to keep that up. They seem very aggressive. They know they got a lot of damage off on the Caleb, Tautai, and Wheels. And honestly, if you're rotating behind a trio, we've talked about this many times before, this is what you need to do. You need to pressure them so they build for you, but don't stop. As soon as they stop, that's when you're going to have an issue. Caleb, Tautai, and Wheels have set up right on the edge of zone, though, and look at immediately how many hard mats Fast Naki and Kenshi had to use immediately over to that metal, and that investment is gonna hurt them.
This rotation is so tough if you're on the northwestern side, because that island is just inside the zone, and you currently have the second place team who's just posted up there. They don't have to invest a ton of bats because they can sit inside that house and just refarm it. And when we talk about that, that means breaking down the walls and then replacing them. It means you're hyper efficient on the mats. And now these two teams both on the edge of zone, you can see investing the hard mats, going out as Clay talked about, but about facing, because 1, 2, 3, was that 4, maybe 5 different trios all stuck out in the zone. Keep an eye on the bottom right-hand corner, because they're all going to have to run into just this absolute buzzsaw that's the first and second place trios right now in NA West. And just look at the damage. Look at the investment having to come through. Jaruto gets put down right away. Carnage is jumping into the Carnage, trying to mermaid his way down, but he's going to get shot like a fish out of water. Aiden trying to sneak away, but he gets cleaned up in a great line. You can see Gigi, Easy, and Benor, Spidey, and Co. actually being pressured by Storm Surge. You have Dylan, Juicy, and Quinn coming from a real odd angle, so they rotated away from the north. However, they are going to be able to pick up some healers, and they're just going to wait a second because rotating in here is very scary as they will stick a revive. So currently only 2 members up, and getting in is going to be tough as Snacky, Faz, and Kenshi are paying attention. They know they're there. We'll swing over. Mojo Solution, Jagvir, Shifu, Adept X, and Co. just on the opposite side of them. They're rotating away from the eastern or the northern side of the map, excuse me, as they come out of Lazy Lake.
They were also stealing all that loot away as well. Quinn and company really needed that, and they were like, oh wait, hold on, we needed a little bit more. So that makes it even more difficult. But you saw 500 and 400 damage above Surge, and we've seen that's not enough. It used to be enough, but everyone is being a lot more aggressive for those tags. You have to keep up with it. If you go and get 500 damage this zone and you don't hit a single tag after that, you are going to be in a big issue. But look at 40R, look at Cause, look at Adam, look at the completely different rotation from Quinn and company. That priority on their rotation coming out of the same POI being prioritized a little bit more by 40R.
And Mojo doing his best William Tell impersonation, or at least the person who was shooting arrows at him, because you saw those little trails right over his head multiple times as he swam across it. And oh boy, look at the zone. We talked about it, not quite directly over that bridge, but we're going straight over to Old Man Mountain to kick it off here in NA West. The changes in verticality are going to make high ground such a huge priority. You can see Fabs and Snacky going to be pressured a little bit. Kenshi currently bringing up the rear there. Jaguar and Solution a little bit ahead, but Mojo is very far separated from them. You can see how everyone just wants to get some form of positioning because this zone is going to be brutal, Clay.
And we saw this zone almost exactly yesterday, and we saw the way it ended up shaping out, going right up to Mount K, and it again was brutal. And we saw this actually the same zone last FNCS, I think on the very last day, and I think even the last game players had to fight this exact zone. And look at Rex, Arkham, and Epic Well. They've got a legendary stink bow looking for the Surge.
So what happened yesterday in this exact situation, the zone continued pulling down towards the south, almost in the Camp Cod area. That was when Riversant, Blizzy, and Nate ended up getting control pretty much entirely on the western side, and then it pulled up towards that high mountain. So what we're going to be paying attention to, you can see in 5 seconds, all those trios are crammed in around the outside of the circle. We'll have one more interior zone, which should be pulling, boom, straight south, right over towards the edge of that Camp Cod area. And the priority is going to be on those orange triangles that are right next to Rex, Arkham, and Epic Whale. They're the ones who have the natural high ground. There's not going to be a ton of space, as we saw all the teams on the northern rotation just getting obliterated trying to make it down the side of the mountain. Rich Hobie, Quinn, and his trio just continuing the tough trend and not making it through. I don't even think they got that first round of placement points being dumped out right there. That's tough.
It's very hard for Snacky, Kinsey, and Baz as well. Everyone's kind of got a line on that. Monks and La Mateo were shooting everyone from the right side as well. They're able to find some bit of reprieve. They used a lot of hard materials, but because they got those eliminations onto Quinn and Juicy, they can re-pick those mats up and they should be good. Mateos and La Monk are also trying to do that as well. Look at this rotation. This is going to be an interesting one. Again, reminder, they are in first place. They've got a late rotation coming on through. This is hard when you have a late rotate and you got that pressure on you to make it through because everyone's looking at you and you know that. And look at how many hard mats they're using.
Yeah, they're investing in hard mats, but I think if they'd gone maybe a little bit quicker, they could have used the line of sight to just divert a little bit of attention. But now we're going to hop on board. Riverson catching a ton of attention. He could use a diversion right now as he eats so much damage. He's out of shield, almost out of white HP. Going to take a second to pop 2 minis with the stinks right on the side. We can see Storm Surge is going to rear its head. We'll see if that updates or if they are just below. Boom. So we know 179 is the farthest team from there. They currently need 81, 82, and that number's going to keep ticking up. And every second that Riverson's healing is times he's not looking for tags. And right now you can see that rotation being forced in. But the 2 trios we talked about who are right on the inside of that island line, Epic Whale and Co, and the other trio, are just pressuring everyone and forcing them to invest so many hard mats, which with the changes to verticality here are going to make these moving zones tough. We'll see where the half in, half out is in 30 seconds. And that's going to determine a lot of who has high ground control for this Game 7 ending.
Wavy Jacob even in this lead, getting some eliminations as Riverson going to take a big beam at an awkward angle from up above. That is going to cost them. Look, no more shields in the inventory. only has the med kit, still below Surge as well. Everyone's got a beam on them as well. They just have to hop into a box. They cannot look for those long range tags anymore. They're gonna have to get creative here because 153 below, and that's it. The Storm Surge is gonna activate, and once again we are going to Camp Cod. We are pulling off the mountains and a repeat-ish zone of yesterday. This is gonna be interesting to see who holds the high ground.
Now, the one thing that's different here, there's no natural high ground in this space. There's just the one building that's likely been farmed out. Riverson and Co., they're going to go down to Storm Surge. They have no way of getting aggressive. They're going to burn through all of their utility, but it's not going to matter unless they make a massive play here. They're going to end up falling to this because they just don't have the ability to get aggro. There's still 58 damage to below. He has to find somebody, and he misses the shots. He doesn't wait for the first shot accuracy. The bloom betrays him, and he whips everything so uncharacteristic. A massive mistake coming out from Riverson right when he needed it, and they're just barely going to get above. That's Blizzy finding key tags, but it's not quite out yet. They'll get some more there, the conversion onto Power World, but a late rotate is going to be the key. You see our first place trio down at the bottom facing a little bit of pressure. A Snacky's going to find solution. That might be the solution to the pressure. They've now found 4 eliminations, and they've got a bead, but they're doing a water rotation, and so is basically half the lobby. The conga train on the low ground. Everyone line up and start spraying bullets there into the box. Hip to hip, and they keep going.
This is bad. I don't like it for them. Look at how low Snacky is, going down to 10 HP. Has to get out of there. They're trying.
Oh, Lolo, come stai, Lolo?
Big tunnel, but no. Snacky is going to fall. They're able to get it, and that water rotate.
Sto guardando quello che mi sono perso ieri, perché ieri mi sono sparato
the rotation. They were trying to get in,
dopo
and
quella
they get
maratona
in
di 30 ore
barely,
di live.
but they lose a player because of it. Blizzy, though, able to survive, able to get in. 20 HP, has to try to find something. Does have 16 mats. Can make a play.
Vedi Lollo, questa è la count
finding
principale.
eliminations.
Questa è
Wonder
la
what
count
Caleb,
principale
Toptie, and Wheels are doing as well.
Non quelle di
And we'll
ieri.
have our next round of placement points coming in soon, but keeping an
Quello di
eye
ieri è
on
il
that
mio
top left
secondo.
corner. We just got it. Boom, +3 for everyone. So
Questa è Lollo.
let's say that, but Blizzy has to be careful. Oh no! Hot fire, not able to walk across the coals there, burning his feet and sending him out. That's so tough being stuck in the all wooden builds with just a little bit of white HP, but we're gonna hop on board the back-to-back trios, the unarguable best in the West, trying to push forward. We talked about them being inevitable. Well, 3rd place after day 1 and trying to continue the charge here. So far, 1 elimination on Arkham, but look at the zone, Clay. They pulled priority and they're going back over. They're going to get a little bit of a refresh, and we'll check and see if the Storm Surge not going to be a threat to them so far. And with 111 above and only 10 players who have to go down on a pretty long rotation, they should be safe. So top of the screen, high ground control, Bakata, Midi, and Birdie. Bottom right are current leaders in Kenshi, who's trying his best, but he's going to go down. They'll look for an individual effort here from Fast to try and keep it up. And then the bottom left-hand corner, the 100 Thieves duo of Rex and Arkham, along with NRG's Epic Whale, trying to continue
Quante
their
partite
run here.
mancano?
We'll hop on board with Fabs, the first place, as he eats a shot towards the side. Still has 60
qualcuno
builds and
manca
plenty of
da
hard
così e poi
paths.
andiamo
He's
insieme.
in the zone as long as he's able to just end up going up. Oh, Arkham's down at the hands of Wavy Jacob. Those are huge knocks coming through. As long as Fabs can end up staying on his feet, he'll continue getting points. We're into those cascading placement points right now. You can see Verdi and Co. just going to continue raining shots from above. Already on 5 eliminations, but it'll be up to Epic Whale and Arkham in the bottom left. Fabs still on his feet. He'll go down there. First place are dropping. 2nd and 3rd will have a chance to overtake as we hop on board with Rex.
Caleb, Wheels operating, getting eliminations there. Rex, Epic Whale trying to drop players on down, running out of options, running out of mats. Only 13 builds remaining for Rex. It does have that Epic Bump, can get into faces. This is where Rex operates so well. He fights so beautifully in this moment, but he has to make sure that he doesn't get too greedy. Box like a fish gonna come through. No, shot's not gonna connect. Where are Wheels and company? Right there in the middle of it all. They're trying to make something happen there. Rex and Epic Whale trying to get up as well. Midi, Baka, and Vernie making a play there as well. Rex is gonna get 1, 2, not gonna be able to get 3. They're gonna fall. Caleb and Wheels in the meantime will fall, so not a lot of shakeup going to happen at the top of the leaderboard, but Midi, Baka, and Vernie are trying to pick up this victory royale to come in. They were in 7th place going into this game. It's a 3v3v3. That's Epic Whale falling down. Look at all the mats. It's continuing to pull away from them, though. This is not a guaranteed win. They keep pulling away, making wavy. They can do it. Dog is there as well. Nani the solo.
You can see 3v3 v1, making Poodle and Wavy Jacob on the low ground midi, dropping down the challenge, trying to make sure that they have a tarp above them. They're operating on basically was a half layer on the low ground, which makes it extremely hard. And Bakata's immediately cutting them off. You saw him go over to the side and ramp them off. Fernie, who has a bead and enough medium bullets to last out the rest of the game, he can just hold down the right trigger or the left click on the mouse, whatever his fire button is. He's just going to continue spraying. Nani gets cleaned up by Macon. He'll take the 2 points plus the placements for seconds, and we have a 3v3. We're pulling over the ocean. High ground control is going to stay with Vernie, Bakata, and Midi because they've already built over, and he found the fish in the barrel, and that's Wavy Jacob being shot right away. You can see the aim down sights, but it gets traded out as Bakata bites off a little bit more than he can chew, and the Piranhas end up patching him. We talk about fish in a barrel. Vernie tries to get dropped down, but the pre-fire, he answers the pressure back. That was Dog and him trading shots. You can see Macon trying to execute on the med kit on the low ground right now. Vernie trying to fight it again, but that's Dog up on the backside. Great shots from Vernie, but he gets taken down. They lose to the pincer. It's going to be a straight up 1v1 going through Dog versus Midi for match number 7 here in NA West. Midi and Co need every point possible to continue pressuring up to try and push into that top 5 conversation, and they're doing a fantastic job here with 10 eliminations, with the high ground control, with the small fry, with the med kit. It's on Midi. He only has the 3 builds. There seems to be no builds on Dog. He can just last him out. He's dipping back into the zone to try and get an angle. He should just take out an AR and be able to finish it. Some really well executed high class. Well done, Midi. That is exact composure and clutch you need.
Provano a giocare come
Recognizing
quando
Dog
giocavo
was
mouse
out
e
of match,
tastiera,
dipping
prendere sempre
back
il
into the
piccone.
zone using 2 small fries to make him hesitate, and then finishing it off. 11 eliminations and the victory royale.
Yeah, my heart could not take that right there. I thought it was gonna go over the Dog. I thought some miracle shot was gonna come through, but Midi had it planned out and it worked. It almost ended up going over to that low ground, but that's definitely going to shake it up because that was 7th versus 11th right there. And with 6th, 5th, and 4th out, we're definitely going to need Shayo, Kelly, and Zeke to break it down for us.
Thank you guys so much. You're incredible as always. What a first game here. Like Clay did just mention, that was 7th place coming into that after the first 6 games yesterday. So to have an incredible game like that, we're talking a 50-point game. They are very well knocking on the door of top 3 coming out of that. That was wild. And you know, I really felt like they had this for like a while, right, Shai? They had the high ground. They had kind of everything working for them in that moment.
Yeah, they held on to the top side at the same time. Finally, great to see Wavy Jacob inside an end game too, right, Kelly? Every time we see their page or the name on the second page, you're kind of feeling out for them, and this time they finally pulled it through.
I mean, I feel like the drama for that game all started from the beginning. Reed's incredible 1v3 to only get eliminated so early on, but with that incredible early game engagement, we can see that this is obviously not where they're going to be stopping. Reed's team is definitely going to be moving forward from there. They just should not be entering those multi-team engagements like they were doing as a 1v3 Shayo.
Reed had a 1v3 and he won it up, and then another team comes through. You want this man to like 1v6, 1v9. I understand it's Reed, but come on, it's one guy. Give him a break.
Give him a break, please. Guys, you know what's crazy coming out of this game is like I feel like that top 3 just wasn't there. This was a different subset of trios we're actually getting to watch. So I feel like we need to get a refresher from the top 3.
Yeah, risky rolls for Favs, Kenshi, and Snacky rolling through. They also have a split on the other side of the Spire on the map. You'll see Kenshi dropping in a little bit outside of it, making sure they have the most efficient loot routes. This game specifically, looking at their performance, yes, they went down in 14. It was slightly earlier inside the end game. Yesterday, though, they were popping off. You know, they're very good when they finally get towards an end game with second places and finishes in first. The consistency, so you never see these guys coming in 3rd or 5th or 10th, really. It's a really good end game or out early. So in that aspect, you really want to be careful rolling into day 2 and make sure you pop off.
Yeah, I mean, Kenshi, Fabs, and Snacky, they didn't have the greatest game number 7, but now moving on to Caleb, Wheels, and Taltai, we got to see them a little bit in the end game in game number 7. They made it to 9th place, and more importantly, they were able to grab 5 eliminations, garnering them 10 points on top of the placement points that they got. But of course, when you look at this team, you have to look at their performance yesterday. They did grab a victory royale in game number 3 there, doing it pretty confidently, holding it from height, of course, name of the game here is holding height and being able to grab those easy tags onto the low ground.
Yeah, if you hold height, you play as a team, and you make end games, even if it's a 10th or 9th place, you get so many eliminations. That might set them apart. Talk about a trio that likes setting themselves apart from everyone else. Arcrum, Rex, Epic Will rolling in still uncontested to this day on 20 Sands. Doesn't matter what people are saying on Twitter, on socials. At the end of the day, these guys roll in and they're a powerhouse. In this game specifically, though, we were watching them come through top 8. You saw Rex go down, or I believe Arcrum go down slightly earlier, so it had to be a little bit of a clutch situation. Didn't totally work out, but they're so consistent every time they make an end game. They have the elims, they have the power, and day 2 is usually theirs. Game 1 for this day, though, will go to Top Tie Wheels, and Caleb might not come out with the VR, but the consistent finish, 9th place, 5 elims, that nets them 213 points and a 1st place overall.
I mean, the top 5 teams were the teams that we talked about at the start of the show that were in contention of grabbing 1st place after the end of the day here. And those are still the same 5 teams that we're seeing here, but none of them were able to make it into the end game, the very, very end game right there. One team that was, the team that won, of course, Bakata, Vernie, and Midi right there. You see them jumping up all the way into 6th place right now. But more importantly, we have to look at the points that 1st versus 6th has right now. This has to be one of the closest top 6s that we've seen so far, with only 40 points separating these teams.
Yeah, everyone really closed the gap. Now it's just maybe a 15-point difference.
Sento stoppato un po' strano.
That was definitely a catch-up game on this page too.
2-3 giorni ancora non mi ci
points,
trovo.
all the way down to like 70 points. Now look at it, triple digits leaking through all the way to 18th. So you're talking about a lot of people who are looking to level up. Trashy, Vert's there too. You see Jagger, Mojo Solution not able to get off of this page, but they're rolling through. Domo, Unsightly, and Glace are kind of bouncing back between top 10 and 11th overall. They got the VR, Kelly. They also have the potential to just rise all the way to the top.
But the top is already so risen right now. I mean, I was just talking about how these top 5 teams weren't able to make it to the end game, but I was wrong. Caleb, Top 10 Wheels, they were able to grab 9th place with 5 eliminations, and then Arkham, Rex, and Epic Will were able to grab 8th place with only 1 elimination. But still, if they are still able to make it and break it into that top 10 right there, that is so many placement points. So even if we're not seeing them in like the final 2 or 3 teams, that doesn't mean that they're not still grabbing those points they need, and that's what is setting them apart from everyone else. Even when they're not performing, they still are kind of performing.
It's all about that consistency factor, right? Just being able to make it in those top places, like you're saying, even if it's just flying under the radar, that's still pushing them up the leaderboards. But you know what time it is? It's game number 2 on the day. That's right, we're jumping on the battle bus once again. Clay, Sundown, back over to you guys.
Thank you so much, Zeke, Shio, and Kelly, and hopping on board with our match number 7 winners, Vernie, Bakata, and Midi. And you can see already some action going on in the feed as Nani is going to pick up Spidey with the knock there. You can see Llama also pinged out by Vernie. They're landing over on a pretty sizable split around the side of Slurpee, so just need to make sure that they don't end up getting isolated, but goes to show why they had so much high ground control of that end game.
This is a very big split, and I like it. Because I saw Vernie kind of posturing as they saw someone trying to go through, and he was kind of pushing everyone away from this area. But Troy Quinn and company, they're doing a lot better this time around. They have gotten that first knock. They got that first elimination. Adam Bay going to go down. Dylan is coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah, trying to do their best to get themselves into relevancy or win just a little bit more prize money, make it to the bump. Don't forget, first place on top of taking home that Axe of Champions is 25 grand a piece, and that's a second llama going over there to Midi and Co. So they're going to be feeling pretty good about that. They bumped themselves up into 6th place and into the conversation to potentially be able to push towards the top. Also utilizing that slurp truck, backing the truck into it for the insta break. There's a little bit of tech for you if you're not aware. And now they're going to come over and crash the party at Slurpee Swamps. They were invited, but they're showing up anyway.
This is gonna be interesting. They've got to be really careful here, because we've talked about how we've seen this pattern of winning a game in West and then immediately getting too aggressive and trying to bite off more than you can chew. And I don't want them to do that. I want them to play their game, do exactly what they just did before the ER, is going to regret doing just that. He got team down to 10 HP cause is trying to fight off the entire trio of Quinn, Dylan, and Juicy. They already lost Adam. They were able to get the reboot card. But there's not a lot that go on here, especially with how low 40R is. They essentially just have to sit here and wait for Quinn, Dylan, and Juicy to make a play. But Sundown, it doesn't seem like they want to make a play.
Yeah, we can see tossing the ramp up there for a little backstop. I was about to say, I'm assuming 40R Storm has a medkit if Cause isn't tossing him over.
Bevo un attimo e facciamo qualche game, dai. No, ti dico solo possibilità molto ma se tu ti prendi questa cosa, non sto pensando a questa cosa. Ci siamo, vamos, vamos a la playa, al ritmo de la noche, vamos a la playa. Allora, oh yeah. Cazzo, mi sono dimenticato qualcosa, però non fa niente. Il caffè mi sono dimenticato, porca troia. E vabbè, ormai prossima pausa lo facciamo, dai. Dai. Cazzo, mi sono dimenticato pure gli occhiali, ma dai. Vabbè. Fue. Vamos alla playa. Vabbè, un po' di musica ci sta però. Merda. Merda. Dai. Vabbè. Musica. 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 Vamos. Vamos a la playa. Vabbè, non giochiamo bene veramente da venerdì, dai, con questo torneo. Oh, hai la ghoul rosa? No. C'ho la ghoul ma non rosa. C'ho solo una skin rara io. Quella del negozio, della boutique. Arcia, come cazzo si chiama là? Solo lui c'è. Perché Max? Comunque buongiorno. Buongiorno comunque. Questo è l'account principale, questo è. Oh, sì, questo è l'account principale. Poi se volete andiamo a lobby e vi faccio vedere le skin. C'è anche quella di LOL, mi sa, quella che stavo usando io, non lo ricordo, ne ho talmente. E poi raga, e tu LOL, niente streaming oggi, niente live? Non l'ho visto questo. Ma dai bro, non l'ho manco visto, porca troia. Non l'ho visto Lollo, credimi, ancora non sto. Ah, dove cazzo è? Non me la ricordo. Allora, MX, l'unica rara che c'ho è questa. Questa è l'unica che c'ho, rara. Poi vabbè, skin season 3. C'ho la ghoul ma non ce l'ho rosa, c'ho Skull Trooper però non ce l'ho viola. Una bella sfiga. Questo prima era raro, però l'hanno rimesso nel negozio, sti stronzi, no cazzo. Questo era raro anche. Questo era raro anche, però l'hanno rimesso nel negozio. Questa era rara anche e l'hanno rimessa anche nel negozio un bel po' di volte. Quella anche lei l'hanno rimessa. Voglio giocare con una skin del cazzo oggi. Dai, nostalgia di Hai finito l'interrogazione, ho preso 8 in matematica e 8 in scienze. E vedi cazzo, minchia che fai una cosa buona a scuola, cazzo, lollo. Ish. Dai, vamos, next game. Disattivo la telecamera, il tempo di one time sigarezza. Che bei tempi, mouse e tastiera quanto mi mancate. Però non si può più. Non arrivo neanche di là, porca puttana, droppata dal cazzo. La musica è troppo forte. Non sento il gioco. Ok. Non sento il gioco. E beh, adesso non si rompono più. Che bastardi. Sono veramente stronzi. Prima spaccavi, cadeva. Invece adesso cazzo, un ughiazzo. Ma la gente è impossibile atterrare di qua e non trovare nessuno. Oh, cerchiamo una macchina e ce la molliamo. Dai, una macchina e ciao. E ciao. Mi faccio solo questa. Visto che consumo un casino di materia. Ma dove cazzo? Perché sei scappato? Bagassa di gente. Boh, vabbè. Non l'ho capito comunque a questa. E beh, mi spari e dove cazzo sei? Ma dai, aiuto, ma si può così? Boh, vabbè, comunque. Oh, ho sentito un rumore. Guardalo, il tipo si nasconde. Ma dai, ciucciamela. Dai, dai, fai schifo. Eia, eia. Tu applaudisci che tu giocavi nascosto. Cioè, da là sei andata a finire là per giocartela nascosto e ti applaudisci, applaudiscimi sei minchia. Applaudiscimi la minchia veramente, testa di cazzo. Testa di cazzo, veramente testa di cazzo il tipo. Se la applaudisce. Bravo. Grandissimo GG a te, imbecille. Il tipo se la applaudisce. Boh! Contento? Contenti tutti. Ma è possibile, cazzo, che possa avere questa sfiga? Non gioco da un paio di giorni e già mi stanno rompendo il cazzo. Ah. Parapapam. Cioè, non gioca da venerdì, già sta avendo sfiga. Oh. Non arrivo neanche di là, porco cazzo. Porca puttana! La zona casina quando vuoi. Dai. Boh. È possibile che a cazzo non trovi nessuno. Partite dove ti becchi solo tryhardone, partite dove non c'è un cazzo di nessuno. Non capisco perché ho preso la penna in mano invece di tirarlo subito. Boh, ho giocato come un cretino. Vabbè. Sto giocando male. Sto giocando male, non so perché. Non lo so perché. Male, male, male. Forse è troppo alta la sense. Possibile. No, bro. Non è possibile, non l'ho vista questo. Non l'ho vista questo. Guarda che frutta. Non l'ho proprio visto. Dai. Dai, dai. Dai, dai, dai. Ma la gente... Oh, vabbè. Che è successo? No, non capisco. Vabbè, 51. Hola amigo, come sta? Tutto bene? Brasil! Ieri ha vinto King in Brasile. Forza Brasil! Io sono italiano, bro. Forza, forza Brasil, tutto Brasile. Dai ragazzi. One moment. Moment. Oh, beh. Sì, momento. Momentissimo, momentito. Todo Brasil. Forza, oh. No! No! Forza Brasil! Forza Brasil! Occidentale perfettamente vendamos è molto parecido. Voce nostra, nostro idioma, momento. Tolgo musica. Ma dove cazzo sta adesso? Dove sta? Ma dove cazzo è? Oh! Oh! Bastardo! Ay! Brother! Muy bien! Porca puttana, Juventus Milan Internazionale Lazio Roma. Bro. Next game. Dai, vamos. Mettiamo una skin. Muy bien. Quale squadra tiffi? Milan, scusa, Milan. Milan, forza Milan. E tu quale squadra, bro? Vamos alla playa. Oh, Giuseppe. Sotto brada. Per traslati. Sì, te comprendo.
Oh,
San
senti,
Paolo.
scusami.
Sì, ti sento. Tu mi senti?
Ehi, avevo il microfono spento, cazzo. Bella.
Tu hai guardato Face King? Ryzen?
Ovvio che non l'ho guardato, coppa. Io guardo Santuzzo 18.
Ah, tu sì, grazie. San Paolo che ha giocato la finale contro di te nel 92. Nel 92, Coppa. Milan-San Paolo. Ah?
Ah, San Paolo è la squadra dove noi abbiamo comprato Kakà, Riccardo Isaacson dos Santos Leite, del 22 aprile, nato il 22 aprile, pallone d'oro,
Ma va.
2005. Non sono un fan di Kakà, no.
A me piace Kakà. No, la Kakà. No, Kakà è il giocatore.
Kakà il giocatore, poi il timone era una bestia, quando era il Milan era una cosa stupenda.
Vabbè,
era un tryhardino.
Abbiamo avuto belli giocatori, mio. Abbiamo avuto. Mica non abbiamo.
Paolo Maldini, basta, e avanza.
Dai, tu sei il leader. Dai, metti coppia.
Sì, ma dovevo mettere a te.
Oh, gracias, mucho, gracias. Mucho, gracias. Tutti salutiamo a Peppuzzo.
E ci mi tolgo. Facciamo così, dai. Prima che lo rimettano nel negozio.
Kakà ha giocato bene al Milan, ma al Real Madrid è stato molto male. Si è infortunato al ginocchio.
Aveva la pubalgia. Che è peggio.
La cosa aveva?
La pubalgia, coppa.
E che cazzo è?
Oltre che è una cosa che è al muscolo vicino tra il linguine e la coscia, coppa. E quel muscolo è difficile, anche quando lo operi continua sempre a rallentarti, coppa. Capito?
Ma va.
Ehi, lui era velocissimo, il Real non aveva più lo scatto che aveva.
Ryzen, tu hai guardato Face King? In Brasile. Dillo Giuseppe, forza Brasile. Oh.
Forza Brasile.
Bravo. Abbiamo un brasiliano con noi.
Obrigado.
Che mi ha portato 40 persone là.
Obrigado allora. Vuol dire grazie in portoghese, papà.
Zap.
Oi.
Chupa caralho. What for their caralho. Anche
Non farmi dire parolacce. Le sole parolacce in portoghese.
A Brasil noi tem cigarettes. Cazzo, intanto il Brasile è bello, cazzo, il mare. Il carnavale di Rio Janeiro. Voglio davvero conoscere il tuo paese. La nostra cultura è legata all'impero romano. Ma va. La
Io ho dei
cultura
parenti in
brasiliana.
Brasile.
La cultura brasiliana è legata all'impero romano. Non lo sapevo. Si vede che non andava a scuola, eh?
No, questo non lo sapevo anch'io, però ho dei parenti che si erano trasferiti in Brasile tanti anni fa e non si sa più dove sono. Non siamo
Boh,
più in contatto, diciamo.
non lo so. Oh, comunque il video di ieri, Coppa di 30 ore.
Giornata più calda dell'anno oggi
Coppa.
in Inghilterra e io sono qua a giocare a Fortnite, vai.
Coppa, ieri, il video di ieri di 30 ore, l'ho visto
Eh?
stamattina, è stato visto 500 volte già. Vabbè, non mica l'hanno visto tutto intero, eh. Cioè,
Sì,
non
sì.
credo, però avrà gente avrà
Ci sono
visto
passate
pezzi.
500 persone.
Tipo adesso abbiamo 40 persone che stanno guardando su Twitch. Dunque vediamo
Mezzo-
tutti
mezzo stadio Mariotti di Alghero,
vediamo tutti raga di stressare ASAP. Ah, perché quando c'è ASAP stressa e gioca
Quando
meglio.
sono in live gioco male. Porco zio.
No,
Guarda, già,
mi
allora,
dissocio.
già 6 shieldini.
La nostra aspetta. La nostra lingua e alcune usanze nello stato di San Paolo abbiamo tanti italiani. Molte squadre qui in Brasile hanno origini italiane come Palmarès, Juventus da Moca e Cruzeiro. E non lo sapevo, io calcio amo il Milan, però qua ASAP è più pro di me.
A calcio, dai, a calcio sì.
A Fortnite no, raga, a calcio però sì. A Fortnite no. Fortnite,
Peccato che l'ho lasciato il calcio, cazzo di coglione che sono stato.
cazzo, ne capivi un bel
Ero
ricordo,
tryhardino,
cazzo, 2 anni
ero
fa.
tryhardino,
Ogni
terzino
cosa,
destro.
cazzo. Ti dicevo una cosa e mi rispondevi subito al calcio. Ti chiedevo,
calcio sapevo
ti chiedevo su
tutto.
Fortnite, non sapevo un cazzo.
Allora, calciatori che sono diventati forti adesso, io li conoscevo già 7 anni fa, avrei fatto risparmiare milioni alle società. Infatti se mi vogliono come osservatore, ragazzi, chiamate. Che io sensi dell'Inter dalla Lega Pro lo sapevo che diventava forte.
Cazzo, non c'ho shieldini, eh? Nada.
Oh, ma tutta la gente che c'era dov'è?
Boh,
Che mi sono dimenticato, sto andando in giro per la città senza curarmi.
gente. Doppio 8. Mi sta invitando
ecco, vedi,
Pino.
Ce n'è uno qua sopra il mio palazzo, Santu.
Arrivo,
Scambiando armi.
arrivo.
Oh, mi hanno smirato.
Dov'è? Ok.
Allora, 2,73 e non è morto questo. Cioè, sono in due, sono scarsi. È che non avevo la... Non mi ha switchato, Santu. Non so perché. C'hanno shieldini.
Sono su.
Sì, c'hanno i shieldini, adesso. Si stanno curando. Ok, al pick. Bella. Vai senti che quello è morto. Non c'aveva vita l'altro.
Dov'è
bravo
la scheda?
Santuz. Dietro di te. Prendiamo un pompo ad un non. Ah vabbè.
Mi fai curare?
Certo.
Solo curare.
Io mi ero un po' addormentato, però gli ho tirato 2 colpi di pompa, 73 gli ho fatto.
Il più pericoloso era quello vestito da soldato. L'altro...
Quello ho fatto. Secondo me era l'altro più pericoloso.
Vivi, buon amico, torna a lavorare, grazie mille per le... Grazie mille Ryzen, grazie mille di essere passato, bro. Grazie, grazie e forza Brasile.
Poi i brasiliani sono forti anche in UFC, eh?
Vabbè, ma i brasiliani sono forti in tutto. Forza, forza bro, forza Ryzen bro. Grazie mille bro di essere passato.
A sciare non sono bravi.
E vabbè, neve non ce n'è, cazzo. Già lo creo.
E vabbè, una cosa gliela dovrei trovare, no?
Oh, aiuto. Siamo un bel lontani.
Sì.
C'è una macchina qua. Dai ragazzi, cosa vogliamo di più? Pure la gente do Brasile passa a trovarci. Dai ragazzi. Aiuto. Forza, forza, forza Brasile. Ma il camion c'è?
No.
L'altro giù?
Complimenti per la guida.
Potrei guidare la...
Oh, ci stanno sparando, scappa.
Che scappa? Forza Brasil! Non riesco a mirare. Boh!
Qualcun altro li sta impozzando intende.
Ma la safe qua. Conviene andare a prendere... Ehi, è qua davanti, qua sopra.
Io ho 5 colpi di pompa.
C'è. Cazzo adesso lo dici. Cazzo, per darti le munizioni a te. Vabbè, andiamo in zona, va, no, andiamo in zona. Grazie. Non lo so, tutti in un colpo, non lo so.
C'è gente anche qua davanti.
L'ho visto.
Ci serve un po' di loot, cazzo.
Via con me. Via, rimani là. Rimani là. Via con me. Via.
Non mi sale. Eccolo. Vai, vai, vai. Bella fuga,
Vabbè, ma Max, mi hanno fatto l'osso, mi hanno fatto...
Non ho materiali, Non ho materiali.
Il tipo è venuto a vedermi e è partito, capito? Un brasiliano è venuto a vedermi e poi è partito.
No, non risalire di là, Santo, ci possono sparare di nuovo. Non c'è più il grano. Ma cosa? Sono atterrati gli alieni, Coppa, nel campo di grano. Coppa,
Ah?
Santu, mi stai sentendo?
No, 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 stavo ascoltando la musica.
Togli
Stavo...
questa musica, Santu. Oh, mio
Cos'è?
Dio. Ci sono atterrati gli alieni nel campo di grano.
Ma va. Ma
Ehi.
dai.
Oh,
Vabbè.
io sono sceso come un coglione. Porco zio, vai.
Sali?
Prendi questo.
Aspetta, devo fare una cosa al telefono. Aspetta. Devo scrivere.
Coppa, non ho materiali e non c'ho niente.
Cazzo, devo scrivere una cosa. Guarda che frutta. Guarda, c'ho un nervoso, non riesco a fare una cosa,
Cosa è
sono
successo?
bloccato. Sto pubblicando una cosa. Scusa, sto scrivendo veloce. Grazie. Stai fightando?
C'è gente un bel lontano. Devo andare in safe, Santo.
Io ci sono. Ho finito. Chiudo tutto. Io dai. Dai, dove sei?
Qua giù sto andando, sto facendo un po' di materiale.
Oh!
C'è gente?
Ah! Vado a fare lo spasso.
Non ho scildini.
Manco io ne ho.
Qua su, Santo.
Stanno
Li hai visti?
fightando. Sì. Sto salendo. A fianco, da dietro. Ah, stai andando da dietro.
E io. bianco. Uno è morto. Minchia.
Oh Giuseppe, però Coppa, stai
c'è il
vicino a
progetto,
me.
Coppa.
Ah. Cazzo.
Uno è bianco. Mamma mia. Che culo, che culo. Che culo, che culo che ha avuto. Mamma mia, non ci posso credere. Porco zio qua. Comunque uno mi ha tirato una schiaffata prima, Coppa, quello che era contro di te. Mi sta ascoltando?
Sì, ti sto ascoltando.
Coppa mi ha fatto un muro al volo aperto, boom, spaccato subito. Questo l'avevo fatto anche bianco prima con l'assalto mentre sparava a te. Cioè, col muro a favore, cazzo. Cioè, uno contro uno. Dove cazzo